crazy time, Twink. I know, right? So many cons, traveling, meeting so many people, and the workload this year has just been so crazy. But, well, at least now I think it's safe to say that I can finally unwind and maybe do a little relaxing. Maybe enjoy the last few months of this year and... Oh no! This episode of My Little Pony really hit me hard in regards to its release timing and topic. What with Dr. Wolf and his family practically mare-napping me and my husband on another cruise again, and for this episode to come out literally a week after my return, it really hit hard for me on certain topics that Doc and I could easily relate to.
Holy cow! Once Upon a Zepplin really hit the bullseye for me personally.
Totally agree with you there, Doc. The episode starts off well enough. Twilight in her typical working mode focused on the tasks of being a princess. Le gasp! She actually has responsibilities that I'm not aware of? Like what? Do tell, episode. I'm more interested in that than her taking a trip on a Zeppelin. Oh! Ow! Okay! The loyal Spike, however, informs Twilight it would be good for her to get out and spend time with her family on a totally not suspecting free paid trip on a Zeppelin cruise. Glad to see this season is keeping up on its family moral theme, since we've already gotten to know Dash's, Fluttershy's, and even Applejack's parents. And now we're going to tackle Twilight's.
You think?
But unfortunately, the episode doesn't really tackle much on the topic as I would have hoped. The episode had an opportunity for us to show how Twilight interacts with her family on a normal basis. And what do we learn? Well, her father likes bingo and is obsessed with numbers and scheduling.
That's so satisfying.
And her mother is a bit more of an adrenaline junkie.
Endless open air, the water in my mane, the small confines of the barrel!
But do we have much interaction and get to know them as much as we want? Well, no, unfortunately. The episode primarily focuses on Twilight having to represent head princess for a themed princess cruise experience for the entire attendees on board, including a very annoying fan known as Star Tracker. Son of a... Oh, I have words for Star Tracker. This character has been so obnoxious since he came on screen. He is your typical representation of that over-guzzled fan who can't have the common sense to realize he's extremely cringy.
What did he say?
He said to give it a whirl.
Oh!
Buddy, I can feel your spit dripping down my ear. I mean, the pony is so oblivious of his social awkwardness, I hardly feel sorry for him when Twilight stamps on his hoof in her frustration just to walk away from the scene.
I'm sorry, but maybe that wouldn't have happened if you weren't practically standing on my tail.
Oh honey, you are speaking my frustrations. Really, it's no thanks to those types of fans that can't seem to realize they are pushing on our personal space to the point that they are almost villainized and... Ugh! Fine! Moving on! Honestly, I didn't like the antagonist of this episode, who, in my opinion, was never one since the beginning of his introduction. That's right, here comes Iron Will. Apparently, the old Minotaur is up to some new tricks, and he was the one who set up the papers out to Twilight's family for a free vacation in the first place.
Continuity
Does not exist in this episode! I mean, seriously, Twilight never met Iron Will in Putting Your Hoof Down, so good job, episode. GG. But was Twilight being swindled to being a host for this cruise his fault? Technically, no.
Iron Will outlined all the details of the cruise in the prize acceptance and consent form that you signed.
Sorry, but the Minotaur has a point. It's not his fault her parents didn't read the fine print, though I admit the episode took Iron Will in a direction I didn't care for, making him more and more like a villain, when in reality his character is just your typical businessman. He had shown display of such personality in Putting Your Hoof Down with Fluttershy, but here it's like they are forcing his character to be more compulsive than he really is. While it's good to have a villain to move a story along, I didn't feel it should come at the expense of a character's personality. But at least they got one thing upgraded with Iron Will.
But Iron Will learned his lesson before. Satisfaction not guaranteed. No refund!
Well done, Mr. Will. You updated your business plan since, well, your last one was probably the dumbest one I ever seen. I mean, come on, doesn't any pony come up with proper economy plans? I could easily whip out a list right now just to figure out my productivity for the current episode and video content and, look, I wait! I know, Twink. I know. I've been avoiding my true feelings for this entire episode. As a result, it's beating me over the head repeatedly for my arrogance. I know, I can't avoid it any longer. No matter how much I want to admit it. The truth of the matter is, despite my complaints for this episode, they are minor in what it has been personally addressing to me. While it still shows fun and entertainment for children, it's addressed a huge adult topic that I've not been wanting to acknowledge this entire year. In a way, I was doing what Twilight was doing in this episode. I wanted everyone to have fun while I was out with Dr. Wolf's family on vacation, or at conventions with my friends, or with my husband while we were visiting his place. Maybe I was doing too much though, not realizing I sacrificed my own time to relax and enjoy myself. But I was okay with it. I simply told myself, as long as we're together, I'm happy. And I was! But when I'm looking back at that mindset, I realize I may have given up too much, and inevitably missing out on opportunities to treat myself. Like with my vacation break offered by Dr. Wolf and his family, there was a chance for me to buy some gourmet cupcakes to share with Sub-Zero. They looked so good and pretty, and not likely they would be available anywhere else if I were to look. But I kept getting sidetracked, or I became too exhausted, or I was thinking about a project even though I was on a vacation break. And thinking about the others that were making plans for us to have fun and spend time together. And that brings me to my point about this episode and what it's talking about. Knowing your boundaries and taking care of yourself. Yes, some of us have obligations to others, but that shouldn't mean we have to forget about ourselves too. I think that's what this episode's been trying to beat into me, Twink. That while it's good that I've been dedicated to my job, to our channel, to my fans, to my family and friends all year, I should still have had the decency to acknowledge that I have a duty to myself too. If I don't, then I'll become frustrated. I become angry. And I lose patience. Sometimes with those I love the most. The same can also go for some fans of mine. In a way, Star Trekker reminds me of certain fans that just kept hovering over me uncomfortably. But I should have had enough patience and understanding to those who aren't as aware of themselves, that I can learn to speak up and let them know what's on my mind. Not every pony is as self-aware. Some may be too eager or too caught up in the moment to realize their actions or emotions are making me uncomfortable. The least I could do is talk to them about it, not get angry and frustrated. As an alicorn of rainbows, I should be more tolerant. After all, it's not like I can't learn a thing or two about boundaries as well. But more than anything, Twinkie, I think this episode has made me realize how important it is of not giving myself a private support line. The very line I want to give myself mentally this entire year. I have allowed it to get so bad that I cry sometimes after a long day of work. I want to take breaks. I feel like I should. But what about the others that are counting on me? What about those deadlines? What about others who paid me to do work for them? What about other channel projects I agreed to edit? What about... I can't just stop everything and think about myself. That's selfish, isn't it?
Even managing to drag along Lightning Bliss and her husband, who also happens to have quite the similar issue with leaving work behind.
Thanks, boy. And thank you all for listening. I am Lightning Bliss. Keep an eye out for those rainbows. They will make you smile.
to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly.